Hey guys, before we jump into the video for today, first off, I want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by Manscaped. You guys have seen Manscaped on the channel before. They are the best of the best when it comes to grooming and hygiene for what we can call the land down under, if you know what I mean. Now, the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer goes above and beyond, right? This thing has got skin-safe technology, a no-slip grip, that's right, they've got the stippled grip tape on the trimmer itself. It's got a built-in LED light. This thing is the real deal is what I'm getting at. And right now, you can get 20% off your order by using code IMMORTAL at checkout over on manscaped.com. Once again, huge thank you and shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. And now, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We are officially headed into that time of the year where things are going to get extra spicy, you know? It is usually around this time each year where we start to see the bigger pieces of info come out regarding the next Call of Duty title. And over the past few days, we've gotten some pretty interesting information regarding what exactly we can expect for the upcoming Treyarch game. So today we're breaking down the truth behind Call of Duty 2020, or what could very well be known as Call of Duty Vietnam. So if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel, we'll be covering any and all COD 2020 info that surfaces. So if you want to stay up to date with that and all other news, updates, and leaks regarding Call of Duty in general, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. Now, this whole Call of Duty 2020 timeline is, well, very complicated, I guess you could say. There's been a lot of rumors, there's been a lot of so-called leaks, there's been a lot of surprises in there too, right? Like I said, things are a bit complicated. So ideally today, I can give you guys the clearest picture possible when it comes to what's really going on with the next Call of Duty title. So briefly, starting back where this all initially began, Jason Schreier, or Schreier, honestly, I've got no idea how to say his last name and I probably never will. But Jason initially posted an article to Kotaku titled, Call of Duty 2020 in upheaval as Treyarch takes over, plans Black Ops 5. Now, this article was originally posted back on May 18th of 2019. And at the time, the big news was that Sledgehammer was being removed from the lead role on the 2020 game, and Treyarch would be taking over. Now, Sledgehammer, alongside Raven, had apparently already started working on a Cold War-themed game. And with Treyarch's overtaking, I guess you could call it, that theme would be kept and Sledgehammer and Raven would serve as support studios on the title, which is essentially what they did this year for Modern Warfare as well. So that's where this drama initially began. Originally, Sledgehammer was going to be making COD 2020. They started to make it. Activision said, yeah, nah, we're good, we're okay, and pushed Treyarch to the lead role, and that was that. Already a little worrying as far as the timeline goes, but things are about to get even crazier. So, fast forward a few months, and then Long Sensation, a friend of mine and a pretty credible leaker, said that Call of Duty 2020 was currently being worked on under two different names, simply Call of Duty Black Ops, and also Call of Duty Black Ops V, or 5 if we're going off of numerals. And then he said that the game would be set during the Cold War era and span the 40 plus years, and it'd be equally, if not even grittier and more gruesome than Modern Warfare was this year. So, all things considered, everything seems to check out so far. COD 2020 is going to fit into the Black Ops universe somehow, it's going to take place during the Cold War era, and it is going to be brutal. But here's where things get a little more complicated. And yes, somehow it is possible to get even more complicated. And really, this is sort of just the beginning. So this next bit of info stems from the Gaming Revolution, or TGR. If you guys have followed the channel for a while, you probably have heard his name before, and for the most part, his leaks have always been very credible. He claims to have multiple inside sources, either people who work for the various studios or even Activision themselves, or he knows people who do. And like I said, in the past he has gotten a lot right. There has been some misinformation, but a whole lot of stuff that was pretty spot on. So recently, TGR said that once again, Call of Duty 2020 is going to encompass the Cold War era and touch on the Vietnam War specifically, and that it is indeed going to be tied into the Black Ops franchise and universe in some way, shape, and or form. However, the game itself is not going to be titled Call of Duty Black Ops or Call of Duty Black Ops 5. Not to mention, theoretically, it should be a cross-generational game as well, since we have the Xbox Series X. Still think that's a bit of a weird name, and also the PlayStation 5 dropping this holiday season. And that's also when Black Ops, whatever it's going to be called, should be releasing. More on that here in just a moment. So up until this point, everything still seems to be focused around these same general leaks and rumors. The game is going to be based around the Cold War era, and it is going to tie into the Black Ops universe somehow. But, as I said, this is mainly leaks and rumors. However, earlier this week, we got what I would say is probably the most credible information to date. Because now we've come full circle, the following information is from Jason, I can't pronounce his last name. So this all started when Sean tweeted Jason asking if this year's game could potentially be delayed because obviously Treyarch now has a much shorter amount of time to actually create the game itself. And to this, Jason said, as of right now it is still planned for the fall, but nobody knows what's going to happen in the coming months. And I think this point is particularly interesting because with everything that's going on in the world right now, that adds even more complications into the mix. However, an idea that's been floating around for a bit now is that perhaps MW2 remastered multiplayer could suffice if Call of Duty 2020 were to be delayed. You know, we typically see a new Call of Duty game released in October or November of any given year. So let's say, hypothetically, MW2 Remastered drops in late September, because the current title usually gets pretty dry and kind of boring around that time anyways. And then, come January, February, March, sometime in early 2021, then we see Call of Duty 2020, or I guess it actually wouldn't be that anymore, we see the next Call of Duty game release. I think it sounds like a very possible outcome, all things considered, but according to Jason, COD 2020 is still looking like it's actually going to release in 2020. Then, Jason responded to a tweet regarding the background of the upcoming game. Previously, it was rumored that it could potentially be a reboot to the Black Ops universe, and here, Jason simply said, I don't think it is a reboot. And, like I said earlier, Jason is a very credible industry insider. He is definitely the most credible person that we've brought up today, simply because of his position in the industry. So, as of now, no reboot for the Black Ops series is happening, especially not this year, at least from what he's been told. Now, to that tweet, Vito responded and asked, do you think it's going to be a Vietnam-based title? And Jason replied saying, yeah, Cold War/Vietnam, I believe. Which, hey, what do you know, that lines up with what we've heard all throughout the video. And seeing that it's a pretty common theme amongst all the most prominent leakers and info sources, I would say it is a pretty smart bet to place money on COD 2020 being a Cold War themed game. But we are still not quite done with the info yet. Joker then responded and asked if the game was still going to be a part of the Black Ops series, even though it was not going to be a reboot. And Jason said, I'm not a COD person, so I don't know anything about all the lore shenanigans or what it really means to be a Black Ops game. But one title I've heard thrown around a couple times is just Call of Duty Vietnam. Although he did then say that he didn't think that was going to be the final title of the game. However, for now at least, Call of Duty Vietnam is the closest thing that we've got to the official Call of Duty 2020 title. And going off of what we learned throughout all of this, the initial leak that we got last year appears to have been true all along. The game is going to be built around the stories Sledgehammer and Raven initially started. It is going to encompass the Cold War era. It's going to be gritty, it's going to be cross-generational, it's going to somehow tie into the Black Ops universe. I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, this timeline is pretty complicated if you ask me. Between the role changes with the studios, the narrowed down production time for Treyarch, all the chaos going on in the world right now, personally, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about the title, at least as far as the timing goes for everything. Honestly, I'd prefer for it to not be rushed, but Activision is pretty well known for having their yearly Call of Duty titles. So, I mean, really, things could get even more interesting as we get closer and closer to release. Obviously, we don't have E3 this year, so who knows when we'll get an official reveal, but whenever things do start heating up, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is effectively the truth regarding Call of Duty 2020 as it currently stands. That is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and everything in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found in the description below. And once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.